Come on, Franklin. It's gonna be a fun trip. If I have any more fun today, I don't think I'll be able to take it. Yo, folks. Hey, what's up? Alright, so that was an impersonation done by request from some friends. And I'm sure some of you might have caught what dialogue that's from. And if you did, you're correct, because I am referencing the 1974 original, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Boom! Okay, this is the original VHS, or one of them, and I love this cover the best out of all the covers that have ever existed, but this is also the awesome high-def DVD that came out several years back. Alright, so, I'm going to hold this one. Okay, so this film, let me just preface by saying, this is the horror film of all horror films that got me into horror films, okay? I saw scenes of this from at a very young, tender age when I still hated horror movies. I didn't like anything scary or violent. And my older brother showed me a scene from this at the end, and it terrified me. And a couple years later, when I was like in 4th or 5th grade, I saw it for the first time, and I fell in fucking love with it, alright? So that's enough said. I fell in love with this film. Alright, so everyone knows the story, alright? Everyone knows it's about a group of kids, or I'm sorry, a group of teenagers, hippies, traveling in a van across the Texas back road highways, and in this case, the lead character, Sally Hardesty, they're visiting her grandfather's grave because it's been dug up. A bunch of grave robberies have taken place in the cemetery they're visiting, alright? And upon doing so, they go by and visit it, and then they go by the old house that their grandparents lived in, and that Sally and her brother in the wheelchair, Franklin, grew up in, that's now run down. I mean, we're talking about weeds all inside, it's like falling apart, and it's like daddy long legs everywhere and shit. Okay, so with that said, all the friends show up there, and one by one, they all split. They all go do their own thing. You know, Pam and Kirk, who are boyfriend and girlfriend, who are friends of Sally's, go off together, and they discover this farmhouse. And that said farmhouse is the one owned by the very cannibalistic family that this movie is about. Okay, and so they get killed. Pam gets hung up on a hook. And pretty much Kirk gets hit over the head with a sledgehammer a couple of times and then chainsawed up after, I guess, post-death. And then, you know, later, while everyone's still back at the grandparents' house waiting, Sally's boyfriend Jerry goes on a search, and he finds the same house, and boom, gets hit with a sledgehammer and dies. And then by nightfall, Sally and her brother in the wheelchair, Franklin, are like, what the fuck is going on? So they go on their own excursion to find where they went, and they see the house in the distance, and upon of them going to the house in the distance in the night, who other than shows up and chainsaws Franklin in the wheelchair to death out of the woods? Leatherface. Alright, so, and then from that point on, all hell ensues. Alright, I'm talking about fucking white-knuckled intensity, suspense, and terror. Alright, so with all that plot said, and it's all about Sally's survival from that point on, which she does do a lot of things to try to survive. What I'm going to say is this. The film is fucking top-notch. It was, at the time, in 73, 74, when it was made, there were just a bunch of Texas students in a college, non-union actors, and yet they made this fucking classic, and I mean classic horror film, that is even, I believe it's in the American Museum of Art. Okay, that just goes to show how great this film is. It is a work of art. Okay, one thing I want to preface real quick is that a lot of people have the misconception that this film really happened, okay? Well, first off, this movie said it did, and the remake from 2003 said it did. It never really happened, okay? There was never no hippies in a van traveling, and they got caught up with a cannibalistic family with a chainsaw, blah, blah, blah. What it is based on is the original serial killer Ed Gein from 1950s Wisconsin, who did do a lot of grave robbery. He dug up his mother's corpse and kept it in the house and talked to it, and then talked in her voice, and he also dressed in women's skin, made furniture out of dead bones, or human bones, and dead people, and whatnot, okay? So, already, we know that Leatherface and this family is based on Ed Gein. We know that Norman Bates from Psycho is based on Ed Gein, and we know Buffalo Bill, the scarier character from Silence of the Lambs, is based on Ed Gein, okay? Fuck Hannibal Lecter, okay? No offense, but, I mean, he wasn't that scary, to be honest. Yes, he was intelligent, but come on, that's overrated, okay? Everyone, that's the cliche, oh, he was just so scary because he's intelligent. No, Buffalo Bill is fucking scary, because that shit really does happen. People are like that. Anyhow, so back to the movie. This film is a grade A. It's a fucking perfect 10 in my book, okay? I don't really have no complaints about this film. And I will say this, I'm going to go on a quick little rant about the 2003 remake, okay? I know everybody out there thinks the 2003 remake is like the best thing since sliced bread. Well, I'm about to fucking knock that opinion down because, you know, honestly, this is the fucking best thing since sliced bread. This is the scary version right here, okay? Yes, the remake is gorier, you know, whatnot, but that doesn't make it a fucking scarier film. That's the genius of this film by Tobe Hooper. It did not have to resort to just all gore gags and everything to be fucking scary and genius, alright? That's the truth, honestly, okay? And don't even try to argue with me on this. No, I'm just joking. I like all opinions, even if it's negative or positive. I like to hear them. But I do think the fact that everyone thinks the 2003 remake by Marcus Nispel and Michael Bay is better, I'm sorry, I have to disagree. I do like it. Don't get me wrong, I like it. You know, it's part of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre universe. It's I saw it in the theater several times when it came out in 2003. I own the special edition DVD, but does it hold up to this original one? Fuck no. Alright, and I'm about to tell you why. Okay, well, first off, the lead character, Sally Hardesty. Okay, this movie, part of the greatness of this film, aside from the fucking monstrosities that go on and the craziness, is the fact that Sally Hardesty fights to survive. Okay? We're talking about her running fucking hell along in the fucking woods, getting hit by branches, her hair fucking caught up in branches and weeds. We're talking about her jumping through 2 fucking windows. 2, count it, 2 windows, alright, to survive. Did Aaron, the character in the remake, that's pretty much the Sally Hardesty character, do any of that? No. Alright, yeah, she had to kill her friend because he was on a hook. Yeah, she did some side-scrolling shot running like you'd see in a Nintendo game, old school Nintendo game. That's about it. In this film, the shots by the cinematographer Daniel Pearl, who also did the cinematography in the remake from 2003, but the shots in this film and the direction by Tobe Hooper are top-notch. They're white-knuckle suspense. They cause you to make your heart rate go up. And my heart rate goes up every time I see the shot in the film with Sally running through the fucking woods, going fucking crazy, screaming like this, and she's running to the camera, and Leatherface is lumbering right behind her. He's kind of a blur, but he's running right behind her. I mean, he's just inches away from her. It just shows that this shit really can happen. It's right behind her, and she's not safe. And that's what this film succeeds on. Okay, the remake was too safe. It was too Hannah Montana. I'm sorry to say that. I know a lot of people disagree. They're like, it was gorier. The guy got his leg sawed off and got hung up on a hook and blah blah blah, and saw poured into, you know, whatever. Okay, it was assembly line. It was like an assembly line makeshift movie. You know, I mean, I won't go into that whole thing. That's another rant altogether. But this is realistic, okay? Another problem I have with the remake is at the ending, okay? A lot of people go on and on. They like, I know everyone in a horror film, they like intelligent characters. But in real life, when you're succumb to a situation like this, either it be a house, a hotel room, you know, whatever. If you're succumbed by a killer or a group of killers, you know, you survive, not always based on your awesome intellect and intelligence. No, you survive by chance, luck, and opportunity. Okay, and that's what this film provided because it was realistic. Okay, and the remake, the Erin, she survived because she stole the baby that was kidnapped from the previous victims the day before, and she tricks the Sheriff Hoyt, and the townspeople are all tied to the family together, which I thought was bullshit. All the townspeople are tied up together into the whole, you know, family history. She tricks them, jumps into a car, but the Sheriff Hoyt thinks she's in the semi-truck, and blah, 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 and outsmarts him and runs him over and escapes and has the baby. And sorry, that's unrealistic, all right? That's so, as I'll fucking say right now, it's Michael Bay, all right? That motherfucker needs to stick to Transformers, all right? Anyway, enough said about that. But, this film was, I mean, this film is fucking terrifying. It really could happen. It has happened, but like I said, this movie is not really based on a true story. All right, that was said to scare the audience and to kind of, you know, give it a bit of a shiver back then. And the remake really fucking lied about it. But anyways, I move on. This movie has a lot of shit going on in it that I just can't even go into. That's terrifying. I mean, imagine being beat with the fucking broom, hogtied, or not hogtied, but tied up with rope and put in a gurney sack, and then delivered to a house where your finger gets sliced by a knife while you're tied to a literal armchair with arms, and you are having an old, almost dead grandpa sucking the blood out of you, and he comes to life, you know, because he's gotten his blood in his system. I mean, it's fucking terrifying. They didn't have anything like that in the remake, okay? And also, the one scene that's really infamous is the dinner table sequence, all right? And that's in the original. And this is another reason why I like the remake better. I mean, I like the original better than the remake. It's because in the dinner table sequence, we already know this family's fucked up. They like to kill people. So that just shows they're sociopaths and they're psychopaths. Sociopaths have no remorse for human beings or living things. That goes for animals. Okay? And with that said, they are laughing at her pain. They're laughing at the fact that she's going crazy, and they're laughing at it. They think they're getting a rise out of it. In the remake, whenever the victims scream or Aaron screams and is going crazy, the psycho family is like, shut up, we don't want to hear that noise. Right, no, sorry. The original is fucking realistic. Sorry, it's the truth. So that goes back into my whole theory about chance, opportunity, and luck. Okay? Sally jumps through two windows in this film. The second window she jumps through is right after the dinner table sequence, is when she is being pretty much hit with a sledgehammer by Grandpa over a barrel, and because Grandpa's so fucking old, he keeps missing, the hitchhiker brother keeps grabbing her arms, but he lets go to grab the sledgehammer for Grandpa to do it himself. When he does that, she fucking finds the opportunity and takes off. And what does she do? She jumps out through a fucking, like, 4 windows to get outside of the house, and it's already sunrise, and she runs out to the side street in the Texas highway, and almost gets saved by a freight semi-truck, but that dude from the Black Maria just fucking took off running from Leatherface. And then another random pickup truck drives by, and he stops because he sees the carnage going on, and she, caked in blood, jumps into the back of the bed of the truck. And yet another scary shot in this film is when Leatherface is limping toward her because he just had a minute ago scarred himself with a chainsaw on the leg by accident. So he's limping to her, and pretty much she gets in the back of the truck and he starts swinging the chainsaw inches away from her, and the guy in the truck just drives off into the dust and leaves Leatherface behind. And you're left there with Leatherface dancing with his chainsaw around the road during the sunrise. It's a beautiful shot, by the way. Anyhow, so it just ends with her escaping by luck, opportunity, and all that. Okay, none of this, she went from plot A or point A to point B and outsmart part C and da-da-da, you know, whatever. So this film is white-knuckle suspense terror. It's genius, and like I said, it's realistic. Like, this shit really does happen in real life. And it captured that. It really truly captured that with the acting in it. Even these were non-union actors. You truly believe that Hitchhiker, Edwin Neal, the actor Edwin Neal playing the Hitchhiker, is truly like that. You truly believe that he's a manic, fucking eccentric guy like that. But he's really not. And the same goes for Leatherface. He was not some big stunt bodybuilder actor that Andrew was in the remake playing Leatherface. And that's another thing. In the remake, they fucking, before any carnage goes on, Leatherface takes his mask off and he's got like cancer of the nose and he's got missing face and he's a picked on little boy. He's such a sweet, sweet little boy by all the townsfolk. That's what they say about him. Fuck that noise. I like Leatherface being realistic. He's just like a chubby dude who fucking wears women's faces or guys' faces, and he has different personas based on which face he wears. And I think the scariest face is when he's wearing Pam's face at the end of the film, and yes, I believe that's Pam's face, and he's wearing her charm bracelet. And that's another thing about Pam. If you catch in the beginning of the movie, when they're in the Volkswagen van, she's reading her almanac, her zodiac almanac of that day, and it pretty much predicts everything that's about to happen to all those people in that van. Every one of them. If you catch that, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I loved how that was foreshadowing. Anyway, so this film's badass. You know, it's aside from seeing the crazy things going on in it, you get to see Sally's survival, which, sorry again, I will say in the remake, Aaron had survival, but really, come on, it was unrealistic. It was too Hollywood. So like I said, Michael Bay needs to stick to fucking Transformers, or his Bad Boys 1 and Part 2, or whatever. Or so maybe some fucking nameless Jason Statham action flick, okay? But not the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, alright? This is fucking the true deal right here. This is the movie that got me into horror films above all else. And it's still to this day when I watch it, kind of terrifies me. My heart rate goes up from watching it. My blood pressure goes up because it is scary. And a lot of the shots in the film are fucking scary. Okay? So, with that said, that's my review of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You can't go wrong with this movie. Now, I know a lot of people don't like older films, but if you ever get a chance to come across this on Netflix or, God knows, online or, whatever, if you find it in the video store, watch it because I guarantee you it's fucking great. Okay? Just think. Realism. This film has it. The remake really didn't. And plus, the remake also became the fucking Sheriff Hoyt show. I'm sorry. I'm watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm watching it for Leatherface, not Sheriff Hoyt. All right, R. Lee Ermey did a great job in that movie, don't get me wrong, but let's be real here, okay? It took away from some of the impact of the original whatsoever. So, anyway, with that said, that's my review of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The original reigns supreme in my book. It's fucking scary. It's realistic. You have a survivor trying to jump through 2 windows and going through hell just to survive. And the remake didn't match up to that. It's just... that's the way I see it. If you agree, comment below, even if you disagree, which I'm sure there's going to be people who disagree with me. They're going to think, oh, the remake's the best one. Well, I respect your opinion. I really do. But this film is fucking scary. Still is to this day. I don't care if it's fucking from the 70s or not. It's scary. So, with that said, that's my opinion on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original from 1974. Great acting, realistic, plays by the rules of how things really work out in a situation like that. The interior of the house is fucking terrifying. In the remake, it was a plantation house, which was dirty, had pigs running around, so it was a pigsty, but, ooh, So anyway, with that said, I'm done. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974, is the best version in my book. And if people argue with me, I will bring up 500,000 reasons why it's better than the remake. And that's my opinion. So I am done. And I'm out. Peace.